So today I'm going to be going through sharing a very powerful strategy that has the potential to change your life today. I'm really excited to be sharing it with you. Before I jump into today's topic, there is a quick story that I want to just share with you, right? And this is something that happened to me in my week. So we had like a family occasion within the last week that I went to. So we went to a restaurant, okay? So we went into this restaurant and what happened is that we ordered some food, okay? And when we ordered food, we were waiting about half an hour for the food to come, right? And the food didn't come. So we obviously a bit agitated, all right, fine, no problem. Sometimes, it can take a bit longer. So 30 minutes went, then fine. Then afterwards, 45 minutes went. And then, okay, it's getting a bit long now, right? So we went to the waiters and the people serving and said, look, we're waiting 45 minutes. When is the food coming? They said, oh, it should be out any minute now, right? So we said, fine, we'll carry on waiting. So then 15 minutes went, and now it's like, an hour's gone, right? So then, again, we went to them. They said, oh, really sorry, it should be out any moment. So then we carried on waiting, 1 hour, 15 minutes, 1 hour, 30 minutes went, and then we spoke to the manager, right? So an hour and 30 minutes we're waiting for food, and at this time, literally it was way past the time we normally eat food. We're like starving, like when you have no food, you've got acid in your stomach, and all these uncomfortable feelings, right? And there's literally about 16 of us here at this restaurant. So the ladies, the manager said, oh, we have some problem with the system and there's some delays and so on and so forth. So we said, look, no, we need to know when is it going. So they literally, somebody that I was with went to the kitchen to see if they've even started, and they hadn't even started cooking our food yet. And we were in the restaurant 30 minutes before, by the way, right? So we were in this restaurant for 2 hours. We're waiting around about an hour and a half for food, and every few minutes, oh, the food's coming, yeah, and they hadn't even started by that point. So at this point, we were just fed up. We were so tired, exhausted, hungry, and we were just like, you know what, let's just leave this restaurant, right? So we left the restaurant. We just walked out, and then we went to another restaurant, and by this time it's like 11 o'clock, right? Now imagine you're going to a restaurant quite early on, and then you leave maybe like dinner time, like 7 o'clock, and it's already like 11 o'clock now, right? So we go to another restaurant, we do an order, and their service was good. There was hardly anyone there, and the food came very quickly, right? And we were good to go. Now the interesting thing, and the whole point I'm sharing the story with you, is that when we went into the second restaurant and we had that kind of 15 minutes of waiting for the food, for that, waiting for the food from the second restaurant to come, I sat there and I thought, look, the amount of pain and suffering we're going through, and hunger and so forth we're going through right now, and this acid we feel in our stomach, and we're so hungry we can't even be bothered to eat. We're probably not going to enjoy the food anymore. All that emotions and feelings that were happening at that point, at that moment, I remembered, or not necessarily remembered, I contemplated at the fact that how many people are there in this world that is a daily occurrence for them, right? That is their norm, that they're in a position where they are so poor in their life that they maybe only have one meal a day, and that one meal is maybe would fit in your hand, right? And it's probably, and I remember even like, for example, last time I went to Pakistan, there was all these poor kids like crowding around one little bowl of like, I don't even know, look like mushy, I don't know, like food that you would never give to your child, right? And you remember that. And I remember like, what other people are going through in this world. Like, as mentioned, when I went to Pakistan, you see little kids that are like just sitting there on the floor, just literally like your own little kids, like toddlers, right? Just sitting there doing nothing on the streets. And, how much food do they eat, right? And then like, I remember, one incident where I gave some money to these kids, like £20, right? I gave like, it was my last day, and I was like, let me just give them whatever I had, right? And that for them is probably a year worth or month worth, I don't know, of income that they may have. Probably not a month, it'll be at least a couple of months, right? And all I see is they run to their parents and a swarm of kids rushing to me. And I'm like, oh man, I had to do a run out, right? I had to run into the hotel and the security guard literally had to stop them. So my point being is, look, we are very, very, we are very, what's the word? Privileged, and we don't really realize it, right? We're very wealthy and rich, and we are sustained that even if we have the smallest pain and difficulty and challenge, we break down, right? When that is the norm for so many people. So I want to start off with a mindset of gratefulness that, alhamdulillah, we've got food, shelter, clothing. And that is really the richest that anyone can be, right? If they wake up and they've got a life and they've got food and they've got shelter and they've got clothing, then really that is true wealth and that is true richness, right? Now, so that's what that was just a little, thing that happened in my week that I thought about, and I thought, let me just share it with you today, right? Now, in terms of our discussion today, right? And when it comes down to making a life change, or changing your life, obviously I'm talking about business primarily and the area of your finance. And one of the key things I want to take away from the story I just mentioned to you, and which was actually one of the main reasons why I shared it, was that when we look at how privileged we are, we should take that as an opportunity to increase our income for us to be able to help and serve those people that are less fortunate. And that is, as mentioned, that is where true wealth comes from. It's where you make enough money that you can then go and help other people in their situation. And in my experience, like the craziest thing happened a few weeks ago. Actually, it was last week. Yeah, it was actually last week. Like somebody messaged me, right? And he goes to me, bro, I need to give you £300. And I'm like, what? Why did you need to give me 300? I haven't spoken to this guy in years. And he goes to me, look, remember a few years ago, there was a brother that had an emergency need for some money, and I asked you and you provided it, and because of that, his situation got resolved. He came to me today, gave me that money, and I'm like, I need to give it back to Haroon, right? And I can't even remember doing that, right? And I was in a position where I was like, look, it's money from nowhere, just give it to charity on behalf of our parents and things like that. And so I don't really like sharing my own personal examples, because obviously, some things you want to just try to keep your intention as pure as possible. But just as an example, that was a situation where, and this is the best, in my opinion, charity is when somebody's in an emergency need, and you're able to service that person and take that problem away from them. That is the best feeling that you can get, and that is something that Allah is going to reward you on, that when you're going to need help and support, Allah will be the one that will help you, right? So that is, I think, my point number one from this is that we should aim to be as wealthy as possible for us to be able to help as many people as possible, right? Now, when it comes down to a position of, how can we change our lives, right? How can we do something in terms of, making a massive positive change? I'm going to share that with you. Before I do, can you just comment in the comment section, yes, if you're still with me, if you can hear me clearly, if you can see me clearly, if you're engaged, just in the comment section, just put a yes, just so I can see that, who's engaging. I can see some comment sections. I can see Ashjad, Lamir, Shumaila, Zaid al-Haq, we've got Bash Hussein, we've got Mariam, we've got Suleiman. So alhamdulillah, good few people are watching, and I'm sure many people watch as well, but obviously just want to make sure everyone's engaged. So do comment yes if you can hear me and see me clearly. I know there's a bit of a lag for me to see that, but all good. So that's fine. I can see the comments coming through. So the next point is, look, in terms of the strategy, it's a very simple strategy, right? And that strategy is simply taking action on a new decision, okay? Taking action on a new decision, right? So, for example, if there is a position where there's a husband and a wife, right? And let's say they've had an argument or they're in a situation with each other, right? If one of them makes a decision to say, hey, do you know what? Let's go out for dinner. Let's go out on a little date and have a good time with each other. Is that going to change their day? Is that going to change their relationship in that moment in time? And the answer is yes, okay? If they then make a decision while they're on that date to say, hey, I've got a great idea, let's have a child together, right? Is that going to change their life? Of course it will, right? So my main concept that I want to share with you is the one thing to change your life literally today is by making a new decision that you take action on, right? Another example is, I'm going to sort out my health, and you go and join up for a gym literally today. That is a new action and a new decision that you followed through on, right? So it's a decision that you take an immediate action on, okay? So, I've given an example in a family perspective, I've given you an example of a health perspective, and those are like, let's say having a child or joining a gym. These are long-term life-changing decisions, right? They will have a long-term life-changing decision on them. So in terms of your health and in terms of your family lifestyle. Now, in the same way, when we talk about money and increasing our money, the one thing that you need to simply do to increase your money is to make a new decision. There is a world of opportunity out there that if you was to make one decision within that world and that sphere of opportunity, that will take your life to another level. I know that in business, there is strategies, and one decision of me implementing one new strategy or action that can 10x my business, and it's happened before, right? I've made decisions where I've taken one small decision and it's blown my business up by making that decision. Now, for those people watching it, there's going to be two people, those of you with businesses and those of you without businesses, okay? Now, for those of you, and I'm going to start for those of you without business. So for those of you without a business right now, the simple action that you can take right now is make a decision that I want to start up my own business. I want to become an entrepreneur. I want to leave the 9-to-5 world. I want to become financially free. I want to have my own time freedom, and I want to increase my income beyond a 9-to-5 job so that I can create the life and the quality of life that I want, and also have that excess income to make a positive impact on the world and do good for my akhirah, right? And use that money for the positive. Now, the second thing is that for those of you that are in business, okay, either you're in a different business or you're setting up an e-commerce business, again, there is one action, and sometimes you can just ask yourself, what is one action that is going to take my income to that next level, right? What is that one action that is going to push my income up? And for me, simply, especially if you're doing the e-commerce business, the simple action can be launch a new product, okay? Launch a new product. Like, just do some product research and say, you know what, today I'm going to find 3 products that I'm going to launch that I've really analyzed, that I'm really excited about, and those are the 3 products that I'm going to launch. That is a new action that has the potential to be that action in and of itself has the potential to change your life, because launching one profitable product can change your life. And alhamdulillah, when people have joined our hyper launch program, we've had many occasions where people have launched one product and they're making more income straight off the bat just from that than their current job is, right? So Shamaila Zaman, awesome. Inshallah, we'll message you shortly. But yeah, so point is that if you already have an e-commerce business, the number one action is launch more products, okay? Test more products, dive more into that, put your time and effort into that, okay? If you're in another business, then obviously I can't really give guidance, but there will be an action that you can do that will take that business to another level, right? And if you're broke, and I'm just gonna share this as well, right? Obviously, anybody that works with us, they're gonna need to have some level of income to be able to invest in, getting our support, starting launching products and so forth. But if you're in a position that you're completely broke, let's say, you are a, stay-at-home mom with no income, and, let's say you're, I don't know, like a student or something like that, like there is so much opportunity out there. And just something happened yesterday that kind of, was an example, right? So I've had a gym membership for free for a while because I had somebody working in the gym, and, that gym got cancelled, the membership got cancelled because they left. And at that point, I had a decision: do I just, pay for it and carry on at that gym, or, do I join a different gym, or do I set one up at home? And I realized I have more consistency at home, right? So I thought, let me go set up a mini home gym. And I went to the shop and I saw the weights that I wanted, and it was like £50. And I thought, okay, there's not a lot that I get for that. And then I looked at Spock, right, where people just sell their unwanted things. And I bought a weight set, okay? The guy had it for £20, okay? And then I went to him. He literally lived like a few minutes away from me. And I said to him, look, he opened the door. I knew he had it for a long time. He wasn't able to sell it. So I said, look, you know, I'll take it off your hands for £10. And I took it for £10, right? And in fact, I'll just show you it, right? It's like literally just there, you can see, right? So that's my kind of weight set. But my point being is like £10 for that is nothing. And I'm very sure I can sell it for like £30-40 if I put it online and put some very good images and things like that on. So one strategy is that if you're in a position where you're broke, go online, find things, get them cheaper, and then sell them for a higher price with better quality images. That's obviously if you're broke. But for those of you that, you know, obviously have an income and you want help and support and hand-holding with launching a business, when it comes down to life in general, like I said, we should start off by being grateful for what we have. And you know, we should make a decision to change an area of our life that we want. Like you're on this video, you've invested time to watch this. This will be a waste of time unless you've made a new decision that is gonna push you to take a new action, that is gonna push you to get a new result. Okay, for those of you that, you know, have a business, do something different within that business that is going to give you the opportunity to grow, such as launching new products. Like commit to that and take action and have integrity that you're going to follow through on that. And sometimes like people, like for example, say, oh, I'm going to become a millionaire, right? Forget about that. Like focus on your week, focus on your month, and focus on just taking that small action, right? That one small action that is going to become a snowball effect into something big. So for example, like anybody that's commented 2022, I haven't said you go and build $1 million business. I've just said write a comment and then we can handhold you through the snowball effect of building your own e-commerce empire, right? So sometimes it's about making an easy, small decision for you to, you know, build the snowball effect, because that one decision is going to create more decisions and more decisions and more decisions, right? So if you've got a business, launch more products. If you don't have a business, comment 2022 and we'll help you set up a business. And if you're not in the position for you to do that, I've given you a strategy in this video for you to make a few £100 to, you know, £1,000 a month by just buying and selling things using Spock, for example, right? I literally have people call me that I've never spoken to, and they've said to me, and literally like, sometimes when I call people that are interested in working with us, they've contacted me and said, Assalamu alaikum brother, I saw the work you did a few years ago. You helped somebody that I knew and they done really well with business, and they helped me get into business, and now my business is doing 6 figures a month. And really, do you know what that is? That is because of what you've done, right? And that really just makes me so happy, and the impact that, especially within the Muslim community, that we're creating. So what we're really doing is really motivating for first and foremost brothers and sisters to get out of the 9-to-5 life. And you know, I'm not saying that is something that you have to stop now, but what I'm saying is that comes with limitations in the time, in aspects of your time and your money, whereas there is another realm, which is your time freedom and how much you can earn, and the time freedom that you get from having your own business. Okay, and that is what I really want to create a movement for, and I have created a movement for, to get people from the 9-to-5 world to the entrepreneur life, right? In terms of the capital, obviously the more you have, the better, right? If somebody's in a position, and it's really not a question of how much money do you need, it's about how much can you put in, right? So for example, if somebody can put in 5k to 10k, then, you know, we will work with them based upon that amount, right? If they can put in, you know, 3k to 5k, then we will work with them on that amount. If they can put in like 1k to 3k, then we will work with them on that amount, right? So ideally, like, you know, the ideal situation is like between, you know, 3k to 5k. However, you know, between 1k to 3k is also very doable aspect of that as well, inshallah. So in terms of the business model that we get people to do, so it is to do with e-commerce. And the reason why e-commerce is such a powerful business model to focus on is because really everything is going online. Everyone is buying and selling online. You've got shops that were giants, for example, Toys R Us, and they you know, they were in a position where you know, they had to shut down their shops. Debenhams recently, you know, Debenhams was a short store my sister worked at and my whole family went to, and they shut down now because everyone's going online. And it's essentially buying and selling, but in an automated way where you just need your laptop, okay, and you can manage your whole business through that without ever having to buy or touch inventory, right? So it's an automated. And even if we look at Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, he was, and his wife Khadija, what did they do? They used to buy and sell products, right? They used to get caravans to go to one area, buy things for cheap, take it to another area, sell it at a profit. Essentially, we're doing the same thing, but it's more automated, a lot more faster, and we're selling to the world, right? So that is the model that we do. We have a unique method on how we do it. We have a very powerful method that we call the hyper launch method that allows us to be ahead of the game compared to anyone else that's doing it. So that's why, alhamdulillah, the results that the clients that we work with, the results is amazing, mashallah, because of the fact that we've really dialed it in amazingly well in terms of the strategy. Average, just to give you a bit of an idea on what our students kind of do on average. So within their first month of launching their business, they normally make their first 1K in sales, okay? And then within 3 months, we push them, and on average they get to their first 10K in sales within 3 months. And then from there, they're in a position where they can grow that to 10K a month in sales. So what it's not a get rich quick scheme. It's not something where you do a few clicks of a button and you're making money overnight and you're a millionaire. It takes time and effort. But alhamdulillah, because of the fact that the brothers and sisters like you that work with us, you're working alongside, you're getting expert support throughout the whole process. The results are often very quick. Our goal is 1K in sales within month number 1, and then 10K in sales within month number 3, and then from 3 months to 12 months, we want to get you to between 10K a month to 10 to 100K a month within that time frame, inshallah, right? I hope you've had huge value in it, and inshallah, I will speak to you very, very soon. All right, awesome stuff. I'll speak to you very soon. Assalamu alaikum.